Hey guys, so we're back again with another episode of As Real As It Gets. My lovely wife next to me here. So we want to delve right in and go straight into the topic. So we're going to deal with two topics tonight and try to squeeze in a third if we could, because we don't really like to go too long in the videos. So basically the first question that we're going to be dealing with tonight is, how do you deal with disagreements in a relationship? Because I mean every single relationship has disagreement. So, what you think about that?
You started it.
I started it. All right. Well, for me, a major part of dealing with disagreements in a relationship is understanding who your partner is and how that dynamic works. For me, just how people say you must learn your partner's love language, you also need to learn your partner's fight language. So if you realize that they're heading down a certain road, you need to cut her off by the pass before it even reaches up there. If you understand what I'm saying, you have to see these things. And if you understand your partner, you'll know when they're going into a certain mode or a certain zone where they might be heading in a direction where you all may have a disagreement. So when I see her acting a particular way, she might necessarily be aggressive or angry or whatever, but the mood is just a little something. I'll be like, baby, you okay?
Is I have no chill.
None.
So if I do get upset about something, I will say something. I tend to try, because we are getting older in this together, so instead of fighting, I tend to try to leave, say a prayer, and then come back and say, well, Tonio, I didn't like this because he don't fight. He don't raise his voice. He don't. But me, I have no chill. So before, where I would have gotten loud, he never got loud. And if he does get loud, that's when I get real calm, because he don't get loud. So, but the better thing, as we get older in the relationship, we get to realize that fights are not gonna help, because we're not gonna ever talk about it, and we're not ever gonna resolve it. So it's better if we go and come again. So as I say, I will go and say a prayer and come back. He will just go quiet. As soon as I start, he will just get quiet and would not say anything. So it's like he will just shut me off. So a prayer and come back. So it's better to just go and come again. Don't fight or don't gnash at each other, because it's not really going to help. It's not going to help the relationship. It's not going to help the fight. It's not going to help the situation. So it's easier said than done, but I have learned over the time, because he don't fight, that it really not making sense gnashing at each other, so go and come again, but calm, don't come again rough, come again calm, go and come again.
So the thing about it is, you need to understand how your partner is, and how your partner is, that's how you react to a situation. If she gets loud, me getting loud is not going to help that situation. It's the octaves are just gonna keep getting up there, and we're not going to resolve anything. We need to be open enough emotionally as adults to be able to hear something and accept something that you may not like about yourself, or that the person is telling you about yourself. But you need to be mature enough to accept those words and say, you know what, maybe she is right. Or even if you disagree, you can still agree to disagree and be fine. Every disagreement does not have to be an argument. And I think in tandem what happens is that we think one definitely equates to the next, and they are two completely different things. We are individuals. We are going to disagree. We're going to disagree on things, but how you handle the disagreements is what is key and what is important. Knowing your partner's love language, knowing your partner's fight language is extremely important. And fellas, listen to me. We tend to shut off sometimes up here. We don't see the little signs. We're not attentive when it comes to things like that. But understand your partner. If they're doing things that aren't necessarily of them or what they're accustomed doing, then something changed, something is wrong. They're trying to send you a message or a signal without actually having to come and say something. So always be alert up here, open your eyes, and always be open to accepting good information, things that can help you heal as a person. Because I mean, I hate people who judge other people simply because we walk around acting like if we don't have problems ourselves. We aren't perfect. We are not perfect, and we don't try to be. We're not about pretending for anybody. So if we have a disagreement, we're not going to argue in public, but you may definitely know that, yeah, you know, things are a little off, and that's the difference with us. We have no time to pretend for anybody.
And just remember to the ladies part as well, we also have to remember to understand our partner. We have to be able to understand our friend, our husband. Really, we have to do that, because we can't be selfish when coming to that, because see how we keep on saying, you know, my side as a woman, and we have to sing and they have to listen and they have to. We also have to do the same, because if we do the same, eventually they will shut off and will say nothing at all.
And that's when you're going to be in problems.
So
that's when you're going to be in problems.
You have to be able to listen. You as a woman to shut down and just say, let me hear him out. He might be right. Although we are mostly right, but you know, we might be right. You know, he might be right. You see? So, you know, just as women, try to listen to them too. You know, and try to see how that goes. For me, it helps. It has been helping. You know, as I tell you, go and say a prayer and come back.
But what is a key also? Both sides. You must listen to understand and not listen to simply respond.
Yes.
Listen to what your partner is saying. Understand what they're saying. Take yourself from out of your shoes and put yourself in their shoes and look at it from their side. I will always say this. If you take the number 6 and you put 2 people on either side, one person is seeing a 6, but the other person is seeing the number 9. Now you're going to go back and forth saying, no, it's a 9, it's a 6. That does not make sense. Sometimes you need to remove yourself from your side, go on their side and see things from their perspective. And then you might say, you know what? I understand. You might not agree, you know, but you understand, which is key. Which is key. So I basically think that we covered. Guys, so the second question that we received was basically, how important is sex in a relationship? You want to start? Why I always have to start? I'm not understanding this. Why do I always have to start? Let the people hear you. Why do I always have to start? I want to hear from you.
No, you go ahead.
All right. For me, of course, sex is important in a relationship. Is it the most important thing? I don't think that it is, simply because it's a different dynamic. When you are a young couple, of course, sex is going to be important. But what we have to remember is, if you're planning to stay or be with somebody for the next 40 to 50 years, a lifetime. A lifetime. I would like to think that when you are at that point on the later spectrum of those years, you know, the physical tends to fade away a bit, and that's where the conversations come in, the connections come in, and that is where the test of time for most relationships happen. But of course, sex is paramount and definitely important in any relationship. Why wouldn't it be? Of course, everybody, again, it's about your partner and the person you're with, because everybody, we were all raised in different ways. Some people were brought up in an environment where sex was more prevalent to them. That is something that they saw, so it's something that it was more ingrained in them. Whereas you may have somebody else who, you know, they may have grown up in a different type of structure where, even though they would have seen, because you can't really hide that thing in this day and age, but you know, you would have seen it in some sort. And definitely, I mean, you discover your body at some point in time anyway. So the fact of the matter is, if sex is more important to you than it is to your partner, then that dynamic is going to be off. If you understand what I'm saying. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? Because you might go in a relationship where a woman may not require as much sex as the man necessarily wants. And you may have a relationship where both of them are in tandem, where their sexual levels are on the same wavelength. You know, so finding and balancing those two is very important. That's where understanding a partner and understanding that the person that you're with before you get deep into a relationship is extremely important, because you don't want to be 6 or 7 years down the line and it's just not working. But for me, sex is extremely important in a relationship, as I'm sure she's
It's
going to
mostly
agree.
important for the men, right?
Ladies, I hope
believe-
I disagree. I hope I
Right?
disagree.
But it is important.
Of course.
It is important for me that you have to be always, I believe, it is written, right? You have to submit yourself. So in a relationship, marriage, right? Submit yourself. So if it's important to him, you submit yourself. You know, obviously, you guys will have that attraction, because if you're in a relationship, it can't be one thing alone. I like this person because he's good looking, or I like this person because he's do so much. Sex also has a big part to play as well, because you don't want to be with somebody for the rest of life and it's horrible. It don't make sense. So it is important, but it's just to know your partner and know when and where, you know. So, like, you know, if your partner wants to sleep, leave them to sleep, or come when you know your partner likes to sleep at a certain time. Leave them, or come and say, baby, before you drop asleep, come. Submit yourself. You understand? No matter what. To me, I believe once your partner
Yeah,
wants,
but you have to be careful, because you know these 2020 ladies, they have an issue with that word submit.
no, this is no. To me, it has nothing to do with time and year. To me, if you have a partner, you have to be able to, as a woman, you're supposed to submit.
A man too.
And I believe, I believe that, because yes, if a woman wants you, yes, right? As women, this is my belief. Other people will have different beliefs, but you know, I believe that yes, it's important. It is something that brings an excitement also to a relationship. You understand? It's something that keeps a relationship, because let's just say, from our last topic, an argument is happening, and maybe the argument is because I just want him to just hold me. You understand? Right? So to me, it's just, yes, it's important. It's important to maybe end the argument. It's important maybe just to hold, you know, just for that person to feel, you know, wanted.
Yeah, fellas, when they acting up, when they acting up, fellas, sometimes it's just a little,
you know,
it's a little bit of attention.
Yeah,
a little bit of attention.
it's important. It's actually, I believe, as a woman, and of course as a man, it's important. You understand? It is.
Right, so basically, you know, I just wanted to touch on this a little bit. I don't want to go too in depth, you know, but I received a call from a friend of mine. He is of Indo descent, and he is like my brother. You know, he called and he said, Tony, I have a topic for you to talk about. You know, he said, I really don't like the racism or the racial divide that is taking place in the country at the moment. And I spoke to him for probably like a good 10 minutes, and you know, it's a topic that is very touchy, and people don't like to discuss it, and for me that's where the problem is. You understand? I was actually sitting with my son today, and I was discussing with him and telling him that if you go into a kindergarten, a diverse kindergarten, you see different kids of different races, different creeds, different skin tones, different hair texture, and they are all showing complete and utter love for each other. So when you ask yourself where that divide starts, it begins and ends with them. If we want change, I always tell my son, we need to start judging people based on how they treat you, first and foremost, than the color of their skin or the texture of their hair. You understand? You cannot automatically come to a certain conclusion about a person simply because of how they look. You understand? How somebody treats you and how they deal with you is extremely important. Even if you don't like somebody, respect is always key, regardless of what. But with the kids, it starts and it ends with them. What you put inside here is what is going to come out later on. We can talk how much we want to talk, But kids see and they learn by example. What do we do? What kind of friends do we have? How do we speak about other races while in their presence? Where is the love? I have many Indo Trinidadian friends and other races also, and I don't see when I see them. And you can ask my wife. When I see them, I don't see that. I see a brother, I see a sister, I see family. That's what I see because of how they treat me and how I treat them. It is reciprocated. So we need to take time and judge every single man on his own merit, not because of his skin tone, not because of his hair texture, but of how he thinks and how he treats and how he deals with you. You understand? So Trinidad and Tobago, let's be better. All of us, let's be better.
We
right?
should share love.
Share love. Share love.
Shouldn't, at this time, we shouldn't be studying hair texture. We shouldn't be studying race, because this time is a time that we're going through a pandemic.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
Yeah.
So we should be studying how do we fight this
together.
Yes, instead of fighting against each other.
What's
the reason? We have no reason. We started off, as he just said, in preschool, playing with each other, and then we are taught something else. For what reason? And then we too might end up being like, why we can't play with this one again?
Exactly.
No reason.
Yeah.
So it's to me, to us, it shouldn't be like this. We should not show this much hate for no reason. We are one. We are Trinidadians
and Tobagonians.
We are all one.
A beautiful people.
We have blood, one color. It shouldn't matter how do you look. We should just be, hear this now, this isn't making sense. We shouldn't be fighting.
Yeah.
We should fight against the COVID.
Correct.
This is not helping us.
Yeah.
Because if we get sick, that might just be that other person helping you.
Correct is right. I remember hatred isn't, you're not born with hatred for anybody else or any particular race. When you are born, you are not. Hatred, racism, prejudice, all these things are learned behavior. Kids do what they see. You can tell them whatever it is you want to tell them from now till next year, but they are looking at you. You are the example. I always tell my wife, I say, I don't study people, you know. I don't take on people. You know what tells me a lot about people? I watch your kids. I watch how your kids are, because they are a replica or a direct reflection of you.
Yep.
So if I'm seeing something is wrong with your kid, there is more or less likely that something is wrong with you. If we want to be better, and again, we need to let you all know that this is not a judgment on anybody, because we are not perfect. We see things in ourselves that we realize we need to change, because this is what we're going to pass on to them, and we don't want them to carry that over into their lifespan and their relationship, break generational curses. They don't have to be the same. Let's be different for them. So
yes,
if we want the country to be different, and we want them to see another person for who they are, rather than what color of the skin that they have
or the hair,
we need to be different. So we need to stop the cycle, and it starts and it ends with the next generation.
So that's it. We going real over time, but I hope you guys enjoy.
I hope so. I'm sure they will.
Tonio. Hope we enjoy. I enjoyed it.
So did I. And just remember,
I always forget.
Oh God. Yeah, but I forget. Started. Go ahead.
No, you have to say it.
Yeah, but
yes,
I try. The thing is, I try to remember, so I try to get her to say it, you know. But if it's one thing that you're always guaranteed here is 100% realness.
Real.
One day when the glory